Hey, I'm trying to live until I die. Come connect, you know it's a lewd state of mind. Yeah, yeah, talking traveling. If you wanna fly, fitness and finance, living a better life, keep it raw, no filter, living with no limit. Thank you for tuning in. Come on, let's get it.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Hey, buddy. Been a while. Hey.
Glen Taylor. Cheers.
20 years.
GT. Good
Hey,
to
mate.
see you again, man.
Yeah. Good to see you too.
It's been a while, isn't it?
Holy shit, it's been good.
Wow. Now, we haven't seen each other for well over 20 years.
Probably,
Is
yeah.
that correct? It's going to be longer than that.
Might be, yeah, because you had the sign shop.
It's going to be longer than that.
Now,
Now,
when was that ad impact around?
dude, dates, unbelievable. My memory's shot. And that's why you're here, because it's great, because you can remind me some of this.
Well, I know we were racing together in the early 90s.
Oh, we'll get to that. We'll definitely get to that. Now, before we go any further, one of our podcast sponsors is Buckfast. Have you tried Buckfast before?
No, I haven't.
You haven't? Well, let me just prepare you a little taste of it.
Let's give that a go.
It's a fortified wine. It's 15%, and it's got more caffeine than Red Bull. So our sponsors at Chapel Street Cellars kindly help us out, and it sounds good. It sounds good, doesn't it? As
Yeah.
you're pouring it out. I'm sure our listeners are used to this by now, but it's part of the ritual. We've got to do it. It's in the contract.
There you go. Can't do a lot of things without sponsors.
There you go, mate.
Cheers, buddy. So, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Same to you, mate.
And happy birthday for the last 20.
To Buckfast. Oh, that's fucking good.
That's good.
You like that?
I like that.
I like it a lot.
Might have to get one of those on the way home.
That's my. I've got some stuff. I've got a present for you on the way out, so we'll fix you up on the way out the door. Now, for those viewers and listeners that don't know, I'm a Kiwi boy, born and raised in Hawke's Bay, which is where you're from.
Hawke's Bay.
I've been here for 20 years. I got off the boat August in 2003, and I said, and I have said, and I will always say that it was the best thing I ever did was leaving New Zealand.
Yeah, I've been watching your progress and how you've been getting on, and
Oh, you've
along
been
with
stalking me?
Some other people, you know,
Stalk-
Kevin. You remember Kevin Lincoln?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, he's in Adelaide. Another friend, Shane Kay, he's in Brizzy. And there's a few other people that have moved over since I've moved over.
Well, so that's the reason why you're here today, is that I saw on Facebook that you landed in Melbourne.
Yeah, we came through the clouds into the rain 12th of August.
12th of August. You're fresh.
Fresh off the boat, yeah.
Immigrant. Do you like that term, immigrant?
It doesn't bother me. I mean, I'm not originally from here, so...
Well, technically, it's exactly what you are. If you're not born here, you're an immigrant.
So, but everyone I've talked to have, you know, you get the little bit of take the piss about sheep and whatever, but everyone's been really nice.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
That's great to hear. I know. I mean, there is the standard sheep jokes. That's fine. You take it on the chin.
I'm
It
sure
is
there's
what it
more
is.
sheep in Australia than there are in New Zealand.
More sheep in Australia,
There's got to
reckon?
be. It's a bigger place.
We'll get Mav to do the stats. And we'll get Mav, how many sheep are in Australia? We'll do that stat. It's his first job for the day. He's going to search that one up. So, August, you've been here, 3-4 months now?
Yeah.
How did the original discussion start about you and your partner,
Jeanette, yeah,
Jeanette?
my fiancée.
So how did that start? How did it all come about? And
So, my uncle passed away, and he's got a son who lives in Brisbane. So he came over for the funeral, and he works in a mine. And he's like, we all went out for a drink and catch up. And he's like, why don't you come over to Aussie? I'll get you a job in the mine. I'm like, oh, yeah. I said, do you want to go to Aussie? And she goes, hell yeah.
really?
So she
as
rang-
easy as that?
Yeah, so she rang her youngest son's father, and he said, yeah, that's fine. You can go over. I wouldn't want you to stop me if I wanted to go.
Yep.
So that was really cool.
So how old was the younger son?
He's 12 currently, and he's heading back for Christmas, New Year to see his dad and his grandma.
Okay. It is difficult sometimes when you've got relations or children from other relations.
Stepkids
Yeah,
and-
exactly.
yeah.
Of certain age. But yeah,
So
well, that's
that was cool.
fantastic. Yep.
So my fiance's got a cousin who lives here. He's got a labour hire company, and she rang him, and we decided he offered us a job. for whose son and myself, who are older, 24-year-old.
Yep.
Um,
So the four of you came over.
so the four of us came over.
Fantastic.
And the middle child stayed in the house in Flaxmere. So the mortgage has been paid. He's got flatmates in.
Nice.
And he's running the place like a car yard.
He'd be fucking loving it without any sort of authority around.
Oh, he's got
Hey?
to clean the place himself.
Yeah.
You know, he's
Is he a good kid?
Welcome to adulthood.
Is he a good kid?
Yeah, good kid. Yeah.
Nice.
So his dad races sidecars as well. Builds them.
We're going to get to the
We'll get onto
sidecar.
that.
We'll get to
onto
the
that.
sidecar thing because there's a bit of history there.
Yeah. So Jeanette rang her cousin Marcus, and he said, "Come here. Well, I'll give you a job for myself and Harry, the 24-year-old."
Yep.
He says, "I'll give you a house and a car until you get on your feet."
Wow.
So we couldn't say no to that. And,
No.
And the weather here is more like New Zealand than it is in Brisbane or.
Well, that was
Adelaide
going to
or
be my
Perth.
question. I mean, obviously, you've got a choice of states to go to. You chose Victoria because you had a connection here, didn't you?
There was a connection, and for me, I'd rather it was cooler. I can put a jacket on.
Yeah, you like that 4 seasons in one day shit.
Yes, it's shit, isn't it? The rain here is horrendous. I mean, the thunderstorms the other night, apparently you don't often have those, but there was thunder and lightning. And
Oh, it was fucking amazing.
It was
Apparently,
awesome.
my wife set up because we're in a penthouse. I don't want to hobnob or anything, but we're in a penthouse, and she sat up for an hour and a half just watching the lightning go on. So,
Yeah.
while I was sound asleep.
I was sound asleep, and she woke me up because she'd been out bringing in the washing and closing all the windows.
Oh, Jesus.
So, and then I was like, oh, look at that. There's light coming through the windows. So, yeah, the set was pretty cool.
Melbourne weather, as you say, and I did the same comparison when I left to Hawke's Bay. It's very, very similar. The summers can get a little bit hotter, but then again, with everything that's going on in NZ, it's getting hotter over
it's-
there as it is.
yeah.
And the sun's more intense over there. It's
There's
just
more,
insane.
More moisture in the year in New Zealand. Like I find
more
here-
humidity, yeah?
Yeah, it's drier here.
Yeah. In Melbourne it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I found I drink a lot more water.
Yep.
So,
Which is a good thing.
But you don't have that glistening skin that you would have in New Zealand when you get hot and sweaty.
Yeah.
It's different. It's just a different atmosphere.
Yeah, well, that's Brisbane for you. That's the reason. I've got a brother in Brisbane.
Okay.
And there was no way I was going to live in Brisbane. I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
Just the heat, the constant heat, and it's relentless, and the humidity. Now here, traditionally, what happens over summer is that the heat will build over a week, and then you'll get a cool change come through.
Yeah.
So it'll get hotter, and then boom, storm come through, relief, and then it starts again. And I know the weather we've just had recently, they say with the weather pattern was supposed to be having, it's going to be a really hot, dry summer, which is why the bushfire season is a little bit earlier, and they say it's going to be worse than previous years.
Oh, wow.
Well, it hasn't presented itself yet, but I mean, January, February, March are generally those hotter months anyway. So we've got that to look for. You've got that to look
Yeah.
forward to for the first time.
Yeah, well, everything's the first time for us because we'd never been to Melbourne.
Oh,
So
you'd
I'd
never even
hadn't
visited
been to
here?
Melbourne until we moved here.
Oh, wow.
So I'd been to Sydney a couple of times.
Yep. What do you think of
I'd
Sydney?
Been to Brisbane.
What do you think of Sydney?
It was a number of years ago. Like it was in my 20s.
Yep.
So and I'm 52 now. So I was adopted at birth, and my birth mother lives there. So when I first found her, I went over to Sydney and to Penrith and met her and my two half sisters.
Was she glad to see you?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
How did that happen? Tell me the story. How'd that come about?
Well, I was having my first child, and the doctor was like, "Are there any hereditary diseases?" And we were like, "Well, I don't know."
Because you're adopted.
Because I was adopted. So I didn't know any family history. So my parents, who adopted me, Jim and Colleen, they took me to the library. We got my original birth certificate, went to the library, and we just hunted and found my mum.
Because there's no ancestry.com back then, was there?
No, not for us old fellas. And then, so I found her and then lost her. She'd left the country. So she wasn't...
So hold on, she'd left New Zealand.
She'd left
So
New
she'd
Zealand.
been in New Zealand how long?
all her life.
Oh, all her
and
life.
moved to Australia.
Okay.
Yeah.
How old was she when she moved, did you know?
I couldn't tell you offhand. So she now lives in Korowa on the Murray River, New South Wales border.
Okay.
So we went over there about a month ago and spent the weekend over there.
Oh, cool. So you got a good relationship with her?
Yeah. And my birth father, he lives over here as well. So he lives in Portland.
Now, you said to me, Portland's not that far away.
4 hours.
Well, it's a nice. If you want to go fishing down there, it's amazing. You said to me earlier on something about sperm donor.
Well, yeah, because
So, explain that situation, because your mother didn't go to a clinic and no, sperm donor as in
back in their day, like he didn't actually know that she was pregnant.
oh right, so she kept a secret.
Yeah, so her mother shipped her off from Te Awamutu in the central North Island,
Yeah,
upper North Island.
yeah. Google that if you don't know where it is.
Sent her off to Napier.
Oh, actually, sorry. Just one thing for our listeners and our viewers, we're going to have subtitles for Glenn, just in case you don't understand his accent.
I'm picking it up slowly.
Mate,
Yeah?
I've been here 20 years and people still pick me up.
Really?
And that's fine because I was never trying to lose my identity.
No.
The one thing I did do when I came over here is I tried to assimilate quite quickly. I didn't want to stand out from the crowd and be that Kiwi guy.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be another citizen, taxpaying citizen. I just wanted to do my bit. So, yeah, people still pick it up now. They know I'm a Kiwi.
Yeah. Oh,
You
you
know,
got to
cer-
pay tax over here.
Oh,
crap.
shit. Yeah, we'll keep that one secret, eh? Yeah, exactly. So sorry, we're getting back to you.
So yeah, so my mum was sent to Napier to a hostel basically to have me, and then my parents picked me, and I was brought up
yeah.
on an orchard, loving family.
So
two sisters.
What year were you? Were you 70?
71.
71. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it's a few moons ago.
That's a cool story, man. It's a cool story because you get to reconnect with your birth parents. A lot of people don't have that opportunity. Sometimes they die.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're lost or never
Yeah.
want to be found.
And so my father wasn't listed on the birth certificate, so it was through finding my mother that I found him.
So your mother didn't let him know at all that you were arriving.
It was
that you were in the oven.
Taboo. You weren't allowed to
Oh, really?
be out of wedlock and be pregnant back in those days.
I didn't. I thought it was earlier. I thought it was like the 50s and 60s. I didn't think it was that prevalent in the 70s, but it obviously happened that way.
Well, that's how it
Small
happened.
town-
She
small
kicked
town
out of town, and
New Zealand?
She ended up staying in Hawke's Bay.
Yeah,
So the thing was, she.
she was in Hawke's Bay while you
Do you
were
know
being.
do you remember Flaxmere?
I know
Road?
Flaxmere, yeah.
Chatham Road.
Yeah.
So they lived in Chatham Road, and I lived in Kingsley Place, about 2 kilometres away.
Wow.
And my
They
sisters
did-
went to the same school as me. I didn't know.
Did your adopted parents know?
No,
They didn't know who the real mother was.
no, they weren't allowed.
They weren't allowed to know that.
So we found out later that they played with my next door neighbours, my 2 half sisters.
Wow, that's
So
that's
they would
freaky, isn't it?
Come next door and play with our neighbours.
Yeah.
Her husband worked with my uncle, driving buses.
Yeah.
He was also a photographer, and he photographed their wedding.
Wow.
So it's a really small world, yeah. You know.
Well, that's the thing about New Zealand and especially Hawke's Bay. Yes, it is. Everybody knows everybody's business, and it's no different to any other
True.
small town.
Yeah.
Other small town, and that goes back to the reason why I left is that I outgrew Hawke's Bay.
Yeah.
I outgrew it, and I needed to leave. And as I said, to this day, best thing I ever did.
Oh, we're loving Melbourne. I don't think we'll go back. We'll go back for a holiday, visit my family.
So you said that you're here. We were talking previously. You're going to give it a year. You've come out. So if we go back to that original conversation you and your partner had,
Yeah.
it wasn't a hard decision to make, was it?
No, well, she wanted to come over as well. So
Okay.
I was like, well, let's do it.
Well,
I mean,
what were the mitigating circumstances that if you're going to do a pro and con? Did you do a pro and con? Did you sit down and go, all right, here's the pros and here's the cons? Did you do that as a part, as a unit, as
no,
a partner?
let's go.
It's just do it.
We're 52. We're like, let's do something different.
Let's just fucking do
Let's
it.
get out of the railway tracks.
Yep.
And do something different before we're too old to do it.
Yeah. Well, as I said, man, if I was still in Hawke's Bay today, I'd be an angry little fucking man. And an ignorant, angry little man. And as I said, it's a good thing that I did what I did. I had no ties. I had nothing holding me there. I think the last thing that I waited for was my dog to die.
Yeah.
And I didn't wish my dog to die.
Yeah.
But my dog died. And it was like, I've got nothing holding me here. I'm going. And the good thing
Yeah.
about it was I had some connections over here. I had the Murphy boys, Greg
Yep.
Murphy and Kevin Murphy. I came over here and worked with them in the V8s. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Which was great. It was great to have that, and they had a good group of friends that we're all
Yeah.
really good friends with now. Jason Richards, the late Jason Richards, if you
Yep.
remember him,
Yep.
he was part of that circle as well. He was an amazing fucking
Yeah.
guy. So yeah, as I said, it was a no-brainer for me. It
Yeah.
was just, as I said, my dog died. Unfortunately, it's fucking just book this shit and get out of here
Yeah.
and do it. You know, I think I'd sold the business and had just taken everything out of the equation.
Adam bought it, didn't he?
No, it was another staff member. No.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. That's another story. He ended up in fucking jail and whatever. But yeah. So as I said, it for me. It was back then. It was a really easy decision to make, and that's why when I saw you on Facebook that you were over here,
Yeah.
it was like you get this sense of good on you because I know Hawke's Bay life. I know New Zealand and the current political situation, cost of living. COVID was fucked.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
Everybody's unhappy with the government and the previous government. Although you've just had a new change now, they've just had a new change because we're not part of that anymore.
I didn't vote because we left.
Yeah, well, we've still got friends. You know, Shane Gibson and stuff.
Yeah.
Shout out to Shane Gibson.
Shane-O on the drums.
I talked to him and he's just disillusioned. And as people get older, they get a little bit more cynical. And for him,
And cut their hair.
did he cut his hair?
I'm sure it's short.
No.
And he moved up north.
He's up there. He's done that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as I said, when I talk to him, it's just disillusioned with the government and just not happy with the way things are going, but frustrated because there's not a shit ton that you can actually do about it. Your vote,
Sounds about right.
it means fuck all.
Yeah.
It means, in the scheme of things, you say, well, if you don't vote, you don't have your say. That's fine, but it's really frustrating when you've got. Look, I don't know New Zealand politics, but I can see from the outside looking in that something's wrong.
There is, and there's a lot of people leaving. A friend of mine, Gary Soden from Taupo, we go back to our 20s.
This is Gary you're talking to me about that came over at the same time as you.
Yeah. Unbeknown to us, at the same time, they
He's made
decided
the decision.
to make the decision. They threw in a dart at a board, and they were deciding between Melbourne and somewhere else, and they ended up being Ballarat.
They're in Ballarat.
They're in Ballarat, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. They got stuck behind those idiots marching down the street the other day.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Ballarat's a great little city, great little town.
He says to me, I thought there were a whole bunch of ninjas walking down the road, and bugging me, they stopped at a red light.
Oh, Jesus Christ. We won't go into that.
Yeah.
But that's good. So, I mean, Ballarat's another small town.
It's a lovely town. We went there
It is.
visited them and
It's
stayed
gorgeous.
the weekend in a motel, and it was a lovely town.
Yep,
Yeah.
it is. Rural Victoria is amazing.
Yeah.
It is.
Nice
amazing.
lake there. And
So if we're talking about immigrants from New Zealand, the first quarter, so to March this year, there are over 13,000 New Zealand immigrants
yeah,
to Australia.
everyone's getting on the boat or the plane.
And that's up 42% from the previous year. So total immigration from New Zealand last year was around about 39,000.
Well, the government's been dividing the country in more ways than one.
So from your point of view, because you've just come from there, explain to me about what they're doing with this dividing of the country.
Well, first of all, racially. So my uncle had passed away. He had a cancer on his lip. Couldn't get it fixed unless he paid to have it taken out. But if you were a native New Zealander,
Yep.
you could put your hand out and get it. And to me, that's wrong. Everyone should be on the same playing field. You
So
all pay
even
your
though,
taxes.
exactly, you're saying, so the healthcare system over there,
It's
like it
shit.
is here, it's free. Okay,
Yep.
it's a free healthcare system. Not a lot of countries have it.
No.
Us, the UK, Australia, New Zealand,
But the public
very
system,
similar.
it's
Exactly.
stuffed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the public system over here, because I've been through both. So in my experience, I snapped a leg, and I've got a steel rod down one of them. That was a motorcycle accident on the Saturday, and I was in surgery on the Wednesday.
Over here.
Over here.
You're still riding bikes.
Mate, it's in my DNA. You can't not do it. I'm trying to teach my son the right way, how to ride a bike. That wasn't a good example. That was a very benign. It was a benign accident.
This is how you don't do it, son.
I'll explain that one to you later. But the difference between that and maybe the private system probably wouldn't have been a lot of difference. Okay. They had to wait for the swelling to go down before they operated, so there wouldn't have been a lot. I mean, I would have got a private room instead of like a room with other, but it wasn't a major.
There's nothing wrong with sharing a room with someone.
No, exactly.
Talk to them.
No, exactly. So as I said, in those experiences, but then if I wanted to I've had a hip replaced, and through the public system over here, they keep deferring, delaying, and in the meantime, I got health insurance, which had a year wait, and then as soon as that year wait was up, I was in surgery done.
Okay.
And I stuck with the pain for about 2.5, 3 years, which you shouldn't do. I mean, at the time you go, oh yeah, I'm just managing it.
Yeah.
But once you've had the hip replacement, you go, why the fuck did I do that? Why did I put up with all that pain and suffering when I didn't really need to? But getting back to what we're talking about with New Zealand and the health system over there, as you say, so there's two sets of rules. There's a set of rules for the European, for the whites, for the privileged, the white. Apparently, that's what they're called.
Well, we struggled.
And then there's
we weren't privileged.
The natives, the Maori, who have a different system again. And you're saying that if you're in a queue with a Maori person, they're going to be at the front of the queue.
Yeah, they'll get moved to the front
because of the culture. I'm selecting my words. I'm being very careful because I'm not trying to.
I mean, some of my best friends are Maoris.
Yeah.
My two half sisters are half Maori. I've got nothing against Maoris, so I'm not trying to belittle them. I'm just saying that's what the government has done. It's separated the country into two halves.
Yep.
And then there's also the higher earners and the lower earners, and the lower earners are getting less and less, and the higher earners.
Well, the gap. It's the same over here too. The gap's
huge.
The gap's broadening.
The struggle over there is real, and we decided we're going to try some greener grass, even though it's browner over here.
Well, that's the title of the podcast: is the grass greener? Is the grass greener? So, and you've been here 3 months, and your initial response would be yes, it is, and for a various amount of reasons. Yeah,
I mean, the markets are fantastic. You want to buy food and veggies, it's fantastic over here.
So cost of living
a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Vehicles are dearer, regos are dearer.
Yep. But then again, you've got different. So if you're talking about vehicle registration, a major part of that vehicle registration is actually the TAC insurance,
which is ACC in New Zealand.
Yep. Which is probably a little bit more comprehensive than ACC.
Okay.
Same, but probably better.
Okay.
I mean, I can't compare apples for apples because I don't have the stats, but that's for those people that are listening that are trying to understand the difference between Australia and New Zealand. Vehicle registration over here is about $800-900.
Yeah, about $220 over there.
Yeah, $220 in New Zealand, and in Australia you're covered by the TAC, which covers you for road injuries. It's part of an insurance, which makes up most of your registration fee. And in NZ, they've got what they call the ACC.
Yeah, Accident Compensation Corporation.
Yep. They were actually one of my early sponsors. I'll tell you about that later on. Is that system still working as it should, or is it fallen by the wayside? Because I know my dad's been waiting for certain things with regards to ACC claims, and apparently it's just a shit fight. There's a lot of red tape. There's a lot of bullshit.
Yeah, and they lose your details. And the claim you had never happened.
Yep.
It just goes on and on.
Just fundamental errors in a system that is.
Yeah. I mean, I pulled Achilles off the bone off the bottom of my foot.
Oh fuck!
That hurt like hell.
How'd you do that? Getting out of the bath?
No, I've been a photographer a number of years, and I do a lot of squatting and I'd been shooting a karate competition the day before, and I woke up the next morning, it was just like, oh, that's sore. And then it just got worse and worse as the week went on, and then I couldn't walk on it. And then I couldn't put a sock on because it hurt so much. So I eventually went to the doctor, and that's what had happened. I'd torn it off the bone.
But you didn't. Did you realise the time that it actually happened? The point
No.
where it tore? No,
No.
it didn't go ping because I thought those things go ping.
Yeah. So I guess somewhere along the line,
Yep.
it must have done that, but I didn't feel it. Or,
Wow.
Yeah. So that was being self-employed at the time too. ACC were going to give me like $13 a week. So being self-employed, you don't work, you're going to get paid.
Exactly.
So I couldn't work, couldn't get paid. And $13 a week wasn't going to pay the bills.
Fuck, that doesn't even buy you toilet paper,
Yeah.
does it?
So I
Jesus,
couldn't even get a coffee
unbelievable.
because I couldn't get out of bed to go and get it.
So, in NZ, just to compare the two, because we're going to talk about this probably further on down the track about private health insurance, because there's a lot of major changes between a lot of major differences between Australia and New Zealand with regards to insurances, taxes, duties, and stuff like superannuation, which is a big difference because you've never
5 in New Zealand.
super
For
no
super.
for
Like
yeah
retire,
but
yeah.
but super's not mandatory in New Zealand. It's an opt-in scheme, whereas over here, every dollar you earn, I think it's 10 cents or 10% goes towards your superannuation, so it's mandatory. If you
So you look like KiwiSaver.
yeah, so that's what they call
Which
it
is
over there.
different to
Yeah,
like
but it's an opt-in. It's an
Yeah.
opt-in service. It's an opt-in service over there for Kiwis.
Yes.
But over here, from the minute you start working, you have a super fund,
Yep.
and 10% goes in there automatically without you even knowing it.
Yeah. Being self-employed though, I haven't put any away yet.
No, exactly. Well, see, I'm the same too. There's the one thing that there's benefits about that. Now, I can contribute, and I can contribute up to a certain amount if I want to, being self-employed. But the one thing I don't like about superannuation is it locks in your money until retirement.
Yes.
Now, there's only certain situations where you can withdraw money,
Hardship.
stuff like that.
Buying a house.
No,
Can you use it to buy a house? So
no, there
KiwiSaver-
are certain. What, as I said, don't quote me. There are certain companies that will offer to draw your super to buy a house, an investment house.
yep.
But as I said, there's certain ways. But generally, it's there. It's locked away until you're 65 or 67, or by the time we get to 65, it's probably fucking 70.
Yeah,
So there's
exactly.
another 5. So that's all locked away. So I've done property. I've done bricks and mortars instead.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
it's a different.
Which is going to go up and up.
It's it's same but different. I've just done it slightly different so that
You've already got it.
So if anything ever happens, you can draw down, you can cash out,
Yeah.
and you can make it liquid,
Exactly.
very easily, which is great. So,
Yeah.
so as I said, NZ hasn't had that scheme as mandatory. I think one of the governments back in 1967 tried to do it, but it was squashed. And it was probably, from New Zealand's point of view, a really big mistake, because a lot of the big infrastructure projects that are done in Australia are funded by these super funds.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Well, I think Rob Muldoon.
I think it was Rob. Yeah, yeah.
He stopped the super and put it into joined into another fund. My uncle Kevin is really up on this stuff, and he gets really agitated about it. Quite often you hear it when you go around there, but it used to be a separate fund, and it came out of your wages every week for your retirement.
It was back
back
before it was changed.
Yeah.
yeah. So it at one point it was mandatory, and then they changed and stopped it, and then people didn't do it. So, which is a shame, because if you, I don't know, would New
I think it's a
Zealand be
great
better
idea.
or worse?
I think it should be everyone has to pay into it. That way, when you retire, you've got money.
Exactly.
You might struggle a little bit doing it, but $10-20 a week.
Well, see, that's the thing, is you don't.
It
If it's
adds
been
up.
drawn down, people don't know it's coming out.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is out of mind, out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
And that's the way it works
And
over
you
here.
can
Is like people
see it going up every week in your bank balance. And
well,
then
if you want to.
during COVID, my KiwiSaver went down,
Oh, really?
like most people's, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, lost a few $1,000s during COVID, but
How did you, so just talking about COVID, how was COVID for you? I mean, NZ was probably not that far behind Victoria with regards to lockdowns.
Yeah, we were locked down.
Hawke's Bay wasn't as bad as Auckland. Were you?
I could have gone to work because it was only myself and I had one contractor that worked with me.
Yep.
My business was Standing Pro, so we sanded weatherboard houses for people that want to paint their own house. But I opted to stay at home because my partner of the time did have lung problems, so I didn't want to bring anything home and make them sick.
No.
So I decided to stay home.
How long were the shutdowns in Hawke's Bay? How long were you locked down for? Do you know? Do you remember?
Might have been 2 or 3 months. It was
on and off, or it wasn't on. It wasn't constant. You
no,
weren't.
we had a long one, and then I think we had another one.
It wasn't as bad. You've heard about Victoria.
Yeah, it was like a year, wasn't it?
It was fucking terrible.
Yeah.
It wasn't a year.
Wasn't it? Okay.
It wasn't a year total. I think there were blocks of like 2 or 3 months.
Okay.
And then there would be some hope, and then there'd be another outbreak, and it would be related to something that the government fucked up.
Yeah.
So we'd go back into lockdown. I mean, luckily for me, I was classed as an essential worker, so I got to go to work every day.
Yeah, I've got mates over here, truck drivers, and they had trouble getting over the border. You know.
Fuck that! And they were taking COVID tests up the nose every time they'd go backwards and forwards.
Yeah.
It was like, fuck.
Yeah.
It was fucking horrible. It was really fucking horrible. So for you in Hawke's Bay, was there any inkling at that point that you think a change was needed? Did you think that something needs to shift, something needs to happen, or were you just living and maintaining and just trying to keep the status quo?
At the time, I think Jacinda did the right thing, but then it just went on too long. Didn't make the calls at the right time. And I guess she was taking a lead from other people who were experts. But we ended up just sitting back and taking the government funds and staying at home. And then you get sick of being at home with the people you're with 24/7, and it screws your relationship. So.
But you were fine.
No. It screwed my relationship.
Oh shit, dude! Sorry.
So yeah.
So the time, I'm just doing the timeline on your past and your relationship. So so your previous partner.
Yeah.
Through COVID, that dissolved. Your relationship dissolved because of COVID.
It was a contributing factor. Yeah.
There was obviously underlying issues.
Yeah, and it was just one of those things that, you wanted it to work, but it was never going to work.
Everything runs its course, eh?
Yeah, and tried and went back and left and went back and.
Yeah.
And then,
it's not healthy when that happens.
No,
is
it's
it?
not.
And it's not fair on anybody.
No.
Although sometimes that's the process you've got to go through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done the same in my past with my relationships.
Yeah. So my current fiance, we dated when we were like 18.
That's what you were telling me.
Yeah. So we dated way back when we were young, days of cheers and snobs. Had a cool DJ at that one of those.
For anybody listening in NZ or Hawke's Bay, cheers and snobs. Jesus, yeah, I DJ'd at both of those venues, and it's quite ironic because we had Maverick's mother's 50th birthday here at Lord Studios a couple of weeks ago, and I DJ'd. And,
oh, really?
And I was nervous as hell. Because
it's been a few years.
It had been back in those days. We were using CDs, and you didn't want to jump too hard in the DJ box because they would skip.
Yes.
So we went out and me and Mav bought a new DJ kit, and it was fun. I loved it. And we did. I think we did a good job, didn't we, Mav?
Yeah.
Keeping everybody on the dance floor.
Sticking any Velcro on the wall, did you?
It was no. We don't. Nobody knows about the beef. Nobody's heard the bee fly story yet.
Bee fly? No.
Nobody's heard the bee fly story.
You were energetic, man. Don't know how you could jump that far and stay there.
So just another another tidbit. So my nickname
Bee fly
was Bee Fly, and the reason why it was called Bee Fly is that there was a bar in Napier that had a little competition going called the Barfly, which is where you put on a Velcro suit and then you jump on a trampoline and you stick to the wall. So it was, I don't know, was it who jumped the furthest or who jumped the highest?
Who even stayed there?
I think
I was too heavy and kept off.
I think I don't know if I was doing flips onto it, but I remember that I ended up punching through the roof tiles, and that's how I got my name Barfly.
B-fly.
B-fly. Sorry, Jesus Christ. It's a long time since I've heard that.
Yeah.
It's a long time since I've heard that. It's funny too because my brother has stolen that nickname for his son.
Oh, really?
Who's called Byron.
Yeah.
And he didn't he hasn't earned it.
No.
He hasn't earned the B-fly.
You chuck him through some roof tiles.
Yeah. I think he's a big boy.
Oh, is he?
he's built like a brick shit house. Yeah, I'd be
He
struggling.
might chuck you.
I'd be shit, exactly. Better put that suit back on. So we're digressing again.
We were.
All this stuff from
20
Jesus
odd
Christ.
years
There's
ago.
some memories coming back, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's a lot that's going on. And as I said,
yeah.
it was really good to see you on Facebook and to see that you'd landed. There's a few other people, and I know it from people in your past, and you haven't seen them for a long time.
Yeah.
And like Scott McCourt, I think Scott McCourt was coming over here, or he'd been over here. Shout out to Scott. And he was with his son, and we were trying to catch up and we missed each other. But there's that a little bit of trepidation of seeing people or meeting people again after all that time. So are they the same people? You see them, you see everybody on social media.
Yeah.
You know, and you see their life, but
Progressing and unfolding sometimes.
exactly, well, unfolding would be the term. You know, everybody goes through their ups and downs, and there's more people that are more vocal than others, and have got certain political views or opinions about stuff, and you go, all right, we'll leave that where it is. That's cool. But to meet people again like we did today, like we did this morning.
Yeah.
After all this time is I was a little bit nervous. I'm not going to lie.
I love your highlights. How much do they cost?
My highlights.
Yeah, mine were free.
This is natural grey. This is natural. It is. I don't know what you're so enamoured about. It's like
People pay a lot of money for these. It's just,
so I do not dye my hair, and I use a barber, and the barber's like 50. They're fucking $50 over here.
great over here.
Yeah.
My last one was 20. Can you
Really?
tell me? Yeah.
You've got a little bit less. Oh no, you got about the same. Yeah, my barber, and maybe I'm on the wrong fucking suburb.
I got rid of my mullet.
St Kilda.
My hair used to come down to my shoulder blades.
Oh hey, talking about mullets, Mev, have you got a photo of Yeah, bring it up. I want to see it. If we're gonna, mullets are in fashion over here, eh?
Yeah.
Could you, if you
The
could,
12-year-old just got his cut off.
if you could you grow a mullet again today? Have you
I don't
have
know.
you got it in you or not?
You get too hot. That's why I just cut it short. Put a number 2 through it and it's
Yeah,
cooler.
Number 2 on the back and sides, and then
Yeah.
you just make the top look
Party
all
at
right.
the front.
Exactly. Oh my God!
the guy on the
Look
back.
at that. So Glenn's the guy on the back, obviously. Who's the guy on the front?
Kim Heinel, Frog.
Frog. Shout out to Frog. I love your blonde perm.
Yeah, that was a phase.
How old were you there, mate?
19, 20,
Wow.
I'd say.
Now, so we were talking earlier about,
Maybe 21-ish. No, about to be 21, 22. Yeah.
we rode sidecars, so speedway sidecars.
You
and
rode that bike.
which is, so I actually rode that bike. What year was 90?
So I swung 92, 93 into 94 on that, and then 95 I had my own bike built.
So I would have been
So you would have been
95,
90,
96.
94, 95-ish.
Yeah, so that was after my road racing career had pretty much
so that's
ended.
1995.
And for those that don't know, the speedway is an oval dirt circuit, and it's got a fucking brick wall on the outside of it. And if
Concrete wall.
concrete. And if you hit it, it fucking hurts.
I know.
I've
done it.
There is actually a photo of me flying through the air. I think so. Who was my swinger? Was
Kerry Stanfield.
Kerry Stanfield. Shout out to Kerry.
Spanner, 6-inch.
So that's what they call him, 6-inch. Yeah, my nickname's 8.
He's down in Colgate in the South Island now.
Yeah,
Still
I know. I
driving
see
trucks.
that. I see that. We had an accident where the outside wheel, the third wheel, got sheared off. Well, oh no, it was who was the other guy that swung for me? Come on,
Oh,
there's the guy with the cell phone business.
James Dean.
James
Jimmy.
Dean. Jimmy. Shout out to Jimmy.
Jimmy. Bro.
So sorry, my bad, Jimmy. I got a fucking bad memory.
007 paintball, Hawke's Bay.
Is that what he's doing now? Yeah.
This
Is
is
he still
the-
doing the cell phone?
No, he sold that.
He was swinging for me, and that's the photo where we've got of us both flying in the fucking air because somebody broke the outside wheel if there was contact, and that fell off, and then we just went careering into the wall.
On this bike.
It must have been that bike. I don't know why Kerry wasn't swinging that particular time. Maybe Kerry was injured or something like that.
I know. I've seen images or video of him going down the back straight after hitting the wall, tumbling.
It was
I think that was on a
from
green
memory
bike.
because it was counterclockwise. It was the top left hand corner where it happened, and then we sort of hit halfway through the top.
You go clockwise. You follow the clock.
Do
on a
we?
sidecar, yeah. You turn right. You don't turn left. The solos go the other way.
Oh, fuck, dude.
Yeah, they go backwards.
That's I should know that. I should know that.
That's why the wheel's on the left-hand side.
Oh, fair enough. I did say, hold on.
You said anti-clockwise.
Sorry, I meant clockwise.
Yeah, I know.
I don't even know fucking what. Yeah,
Yeah.
clockwise because it was.
Yeah,
Yeah, I went that way. I just said the wrong fucking thing.
Oh, to me, it was the wrong way.
Dumbass. Yes. So that is part of our history of knowing each other was racing at the Miani Speedway in Hawke's Bay, which is
I might have taken
some
you a
great
picture of
news.
the Winter Series, maybe Manfield. Or,
Oh, true, really?
yeah, because
Right
I've been
back
taking
then.
pictures for a long time. Yeah,
Wow. That was 90, it would have been 91, 92. I think the last,
was it? Oh, I
Yeah.
could have.
anyway.
Yeah. 'Cause
Anyway.
I had friends in Taupo who raced road circuit as well.
Well, see, the
Cycles.
V8 supercars are going to Taupo next year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, did you know
I
that?
haven't. We
I-
don't hear much about New Zealand over here.
Well, you're probably right. It was. I don't know when it was announced, but
Okay.
the V8 supercars, because there's no Pukekohe anymore, they're
Yeah.
going to Taupo,
Oh,
and you know the Taupo circuit.
Yeah.
I've raced at the Taupo circuit.
the new one.
I haven't raced at the new one. I've raced
Yeah,
at the old
extended.
Taupo circuit.
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Great little circuit, great little town. It's going to be great for
Great.
Taupo.
Wow.
For all those avid V8 supercar fans, they've got somewhere to go. And
I thought they
Taupo's.
would have gone to the one up north further.
Um,
Up Mary. I forget the name.
I
of it
don't
at the
even know.
moment.
Yeah, it's not no. Anyway, well, no. As I said, good on Taupo.
Yeah,
good on
well
Taupo.
done,
It's
Taupo.
great. It's a great
place.
little spot.
I lived there for a while. Good
For-
spot.
oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, when I was young. In the winter, riding motorbikes.
Have you always ridden motorbikes? Have you always been around motorbikes?
Yeah. Brought up in Orchard.
Oh,
YMCA used
that's
to have
where I
those
started.
little YMCA used to have those little Hondas and Yamahas. Those are like
Z50s.
little wee ones. Yeah. My old man bought me one of those. Used to
So
race,
I learnt-
race around the Orchard.
I learned how to ride a motorbike on a Z50,
Yeah.
and I've got it. There's a Z50 in my other factory that I brought and restored for Mav when he
Nice.
was a kid,
Yeah.
and we still hack around on it now.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I love it.
Wow.
I absolutely love it. Getting back to the immigration. Now, you and your lovely partner, sounds like it was a no-brainer.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sounds like you had a really good platform in Victoria. We've discussed about other states. They've all got their pros and their cons. So if we're looking at stats on immigration to Australia, I had a chart here about who's going where, and the most of them are going to Western Australia. There's a lot of fly in, fly out mining job. If you think about it, if you're 20, 25 years old, you got nothing holding you back in NZ, why would you not jump on a plane, go to Western Australia and get a mining job? These guys are on 200K a year plus
Yeah.
benefits. They're not working, they're not doing a 9 to 5.
Yeah, that's right. They do like
It's fly in, fly out. They maybe
But they do
10
like-
on, 10 off, or have it.
2 weeks or yeah.
Or have it.
I know guys that do it, and they're making good money. But
It's great if you. It's great if you've got no other ties. You're not married. You don't have a partner. You're single.
yeah,
And all you want to do is head down, bum up, make some cash, and set yourself up
Yeah.
for the future. It's perfect.
perfect.
Absolutely perfect. So as I said, next behind Western Australia is Victoria. I think there was over 319,000 immigrants in the last year, from memory. Don't quote me on that.
It's not written down in front of you.
I did have it somewhere.
Yeah.
I remember 320. So the
There's a lot of people. I mean, just 2 weeks ago, I've seen on Facebook a friend of mine left Hawke's Bay to go to Darwin. Sold their house, packed up the family. They were having 2 weeks on the Gold Coast and then moving to Darwin to start the new job.
Perfect.
It's like everyone I know.
I just found the spec. So the Vic population is 6.7 million. That's Victoria.
Yep.
161K, so 161,000 new immigrants in 2023.
Okay. So that's the whole of New Zealand and Victoria.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the one. The main, and I saw it early on, was that the main difference between Australia and New Zealand is population.
Yeah.
It's just population.
Yeah.
You cannot thrive in certain industries or businesses unless you have population. So everything increases dramatically by the net volume of the population.
Yeah.
Whatever you're doing. It is so easy to do business
And
over
they've got too many traffic lights over here.
You don't like traffic lights? At least they don't have fucking roundabouts like in Hawke's Bay. I think they've got a 2-for-1 deal on roundabouts.
Well, no one indicates to exit a roundabout here. It's like, what? You're leaving the roundabout. No, you're not. You're going around this way. You've still got indicator on, but you're going that way. It's like...
Mate, there's dickheads on the road anywhere and everywhere.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what state or country
I've
you're
been
in.
one of those.
I hope not, mate.
Somewhere along the line, I've been a dickhead on the road. You've got to start somewhere.
That's the trouble when you've got signage on your vehicle. People tend to get upset with your driving sometimes.
Got to be not a dickhead on the road when you've got signage.
I'm not a dickhead, am I, Mav?
Once upon a time.
He choked on his water. We were
all young and had to start somewhere, and you know.
I do the same drive every day, 5-6 days a week.
Yeah, the car does it for you. You just steer it.
Well, it's autopilot for sure, but it's just frustrating because it can vary. Obviously, the traffic varies from certain times of the morning. So if you leave a half an hour,
You're screwed.
certain. And I go against the traffic, but if you're going with the traffic and you don't get that gap or that slot. Was that the ice bucket?
The ice is alive.
It's frustrating. So we'll talk about. Oh, you want a refill?
Yeah, mate.
Dude,
That's good.
I think the bucket was calling you, mate. It must have known.
Calling my name.
It must have known. So just talking about traffic, what was your initial? I mean, obviously coming from a small town, you've obviously driven in Auckland. Auckland's just a fucking shit fight. What did you think about the traffic?
Holy shit!
in
There's
Melbourne?
6 lanes.
You just freaked out because of the volume, the sheer volume.
The expressway between Napier and Hastings is 1 lane.
1 lane each way.
Still 1 lane each way.
Yeah.
That's expressway.
Just a quick point. Now, I stay up to date with what's going on at home with the internet and you know,
Thank you.
Hawke's Bay Today and stuff like that. The amount of fucking accidents in Hawke's Bay, compare that to the population, it seems to be very high. Somebody's always fucking in an accident. Somebody's always dying. I read yesterday, a couple died in the crash. And it's like, how the fuck does this happen? And why? And
Because
it's
there's not enough lanes for the traffic, and they're all trying to pass.
just Kiwis driving like fucking Kiwis.
Yeah. They don't let you in. Like, people are good here. Like, you put your indicator on, they'll let you in most of the time.
Yep.
Great. You know, because it's taken a while to get used to Google Maps and telling you which lane to be in, and they fuck it up, and next thing you're going the wrong direction because you're stuck in a lane that you didn't want to be in.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So it's taken a while to get the hang of.
Yep.
Just the traffic flow and learning how to use bloody Google Maps. I've tried Waze. That's meant to be pretty good. But,
Yeah.
if you're stuck in the wrong lane, you're screwed. But
Yeah, well, as you say, I mean, look, if I'm going somewhere I've never been before, I'm doing the same thing. I'm using Google Maps.
Yeah.
But if I'm going down a route that I've done thousands of times,
You know.
I know I've got to be in the right-hand lane to avoid the traffic turning left, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah,
yeah,
blah.
yeah, I'm getting the hang of it too.
Yeah. It does take time. But as you said, it can be pretty daunting, with the volume of the traffic. And I mean, and even some of these 2 and 3 lane roads, you're like this with the traffic beside you.
Yeah.
And it's about trust.
Yeah.
It's about trust. So it is. That was the one thing. And even when I think I had my sister in the car, and we were in this multi-lane thing, and she's just sitting there going, "What the fuck? this is fucking traffic just so fucking close," But yeah, that's one culture shock is just the amount of people, the population. You've been to the CBD. You've seen, although the CBDs. They say it's not
Flinders Street and been to Victoria Market.
It's not as busy as what it used to be, but that's bullshit.
Preston Market's good.
Preston, yep. There's a lot of good markets.
Yeah.
Don't go to Dandenong. Don't waste your time with that one.
Okay.
Yep.
Put a cross next to that one.
Yeah. Sorry, Dandenong Markets. You're not a sponsor. So we're talking about culture shock, because this is the one thing I really wanted to discuss with you. You come from a small town. Population has basically tenfolded right in front of your eyes.
Yeah.
Traffic's gotten just crazy. Yeah. What else? I mean, there's all this stuff. So you said to me, you and your partner are going to do a year.
Yeah.
You're going to give it a year. I think you've already made your mind up already.
Pretty much.
By the sounds of it.
We'll be going back.
But that's what you've said. You're giving it a year. So you've come over here. You've got to get new bank accounts.
The paperwork and the point system for things.
Yep.
Renting a house.
Yep. So the one thing we discussed earlier was you've just rented a house.
Yeah.
And you said you rented that house because that was the first house you could rent.
Yeah. Every other one we went to was a no. You don't
Just
have this. You don't
decline.
have that. You haven't got this. You haven't got that. And like we've just got here. How meant to expect to get all this?
Yeah.
We were lucky that her cousin gifted us a house and a car until we got on our feet. So
is that the house that you're in, or you've gone to another? You've gone to you've gone from that to a rental.
Yes. Yeah.
And you've had to qualify for that rental.
Yeah.
Through, as you say, through the point system over here, which is passport, driver's. So you've got your Victorian driver's license.
Yes.
The first thing you did.
Yeah.
You've got to have bank accounts. You've got to have bank account statements. You've got to have time to create those statements.
And most places you've got to have 3 months of statements.
Yep.
It's just like, well, we've only been here 4 weeks.
Yep.
We can't do much else.
The struggle is real. So you imagine somebody, an immigrant that's landed here, that doesn't speak English as their first language. Yes. Imagine their struggle. You imagine how frustrating and confusing that would be. Now,
I mean, we were lucky we had a family member look after us. I don't know whether they would have family members, but it was still a struggle.
I did the same thing when I came here.
Yeah.
The struggle, I say struggle, it wasn't a fucking struggle. People use this word struggle.
Well, 20 years ago it might have been a bit different.
It's the process. It's about processes. Everything has a process, and you've just got to tick these boxes.
Yeah.
Now, I was no different. I went through the same thing trying to rent as you did, but back then the rental market wasn't as fucked as what it is today.
Yeah.
The housing crisis is real, and it's not getting any better. So you're one of the lucky ones.
We offered $40 a week more than what they were asking.
That's what you've got to do.
And we got cool.
Yep.
So
Did you know that's what you had to do to secure the rental? Was that part of the game plan?
We jumped on a few Facebook pages, Kiwis in Melbourne and rentals and property market stuff, and it was suggested we try that.
Yep.
So we tried it, and the first one we tried it with, we got it.
You were comfortable with that?
Yeah.
You weren't outside of your means. I mean,
No.
So as far as if we're talking about rental prices here versus home, what's the comparison? Are we apples for apples? Are you getting more for your money? Are you getting less for your money?
I mean, I'd rather have a mortgage and own the place and pay less per week.
Yep.
But as far as rentals go, I think it's pretty much on par.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you got a 1 year lease?
I think it is.
Yep.
I
think that would be
the boss looks
probably the minimum that they're doing. I know through COVID, a lot of investors property owners who would have had longer leases, and post-COVID, because of all the interest rates and the inflation, are now only doing 1 year leases.
Okay.
And some of them are only doing 6 months. Yeah. So what they can do is they can reassess that rental agreement at 6 months and then fucking put it up again. Yeah. You know. So I mean, as a property owner, as an investor, I fully understand.
Yeah.
That's what you've got to do.
Well, you've got to pay the bills. You know, you've got insurances, rates.
Yep.
Yeah, mortgage.
Exactly. So, well, as I said, that's good that you've understood how the system works.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't have to do that when I was renting, thank God. But I can understand now that that's what you have to do to get to the top rung and put your name at the top of the list.
Yeah. I mean, we're still getting on our feet. We're still buying things we require, need, want. You know?
Have you found out about you found out pretty soon about the free market stall on every street, didn't you?
Oh yeah,
the hard rubbish.
The curbside shops are fantastic.
Curbside shops.
It's just the parking's ridiculous. You pull up, put your headlights on, grab a couch or a bed, or you know, it's
hard
and
rubbish.
we got on our feet doing that.
Yeah. So for those people that are listening that don't understand what we're talking about, so hard rubbish is a system where you can put larger items like beds, cabinets, tables, whatever,
dresses
on your curb in front of your house, and then what happens is a truck comes around and gets rid of it for you. So I think there's a week grace where you've got to put the stuff out there and then it gets collected. So once it's put out there, it's fucking open slather, and anybody can take it and anybody can reuse it
and it gets you on your feet.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic.
Well, we've bought new jugs and cutlery and
of course
saucepans and TV and bed. We bought a second-hand bed. No, we're starting out again. We brought nothing with us. Everything's still at home in the house.
That's right, because you haven't got a container load of stuff from a house turning up.
Yeah.
But the good thing, I think the one good thing about that is that you get to start fresh. You know, you get to just, and the reason why you're here is because you're starting fresh. Yeah. So if you bring everything in a container from your previous existence in New Zealand, it sort of tarnishes it a bit.
Yeah.
You know, starting is nothing better than starting fresh, getting new shit.
Great. I mean,
getting new, and even finding stuff on the side where you go, fuck yeah.
Also, I bought a Holden Creamer. I mean, it's 20 years old next year, but we got two young fellas to chuck in the back. We were picking up stuff off the side of the road. I'm working, labouring, building, doing movie sets and event stuff like Caulfield and Melbourne
cool.
Cup. So I needed a ute to put stuff on.
Yep.
So I got the Creamer. It was cheaper than buying a brand new vehicle while we're getting on our feet.
Yeah.
And then
it makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
Don't want to spend everything at once.
No.
You know, you want to find out where you're going and what direction you're doing.
Yeah.
You know.
Because as you say, the lucky thing is that you and your partner in the situation that you've got has turned out better than you've expected. Because you'd have to have some sort of trepidation, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
There'd have to be a little bit in the back of your mind, a bit of a niggle going, well, what happens if it doesn't work out? Well, if it doesn't work out, you jump on a plane, you go home. Well,
I mean, there's the unknown. I mean, we looked at the job apps before we came over, and there was like 75,000 jobs in Victoria. I mean, I know it's a big place, but 75,000 jobs.
You'd have to be trying pretty hard not to get a job over here.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what you do.
And the funds soon run out that you bring with you, so you've got to get a job.
What was the period of you making up your mind to you jumping on the plane? How long was that?
I think it was 4 weeks. We booked the tickets.
It was only 4 weeks.
We booked the tickets that week.
Fuck. Yeah. Shotgun.
It was like we're doing it, and if we didn't book the tickets,
you wouldn't have done it.
Probably wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
So we booked the tickets, and then we had to get rid of a whole lot of shit. So we downsized. Well, we must have taken 20 banana boxes full of stuff to charity.
Yep.
Sold dresses and things that we didn't require anymore.
Yep.
Just big things. Stored some stuff in the shed that I want to keep, tools and that. I sold off all my business gear. Just got my van still in New Zealand for sale.
So your business gear was you were a photographer, yeah?
No, my sanding.
Oh, the sanding gear, that's right.
I bought all my
so
camera
you still do photography work, or you've done photography?
I haven't taken the camera out of the bag since I've been here. So,
but you were doing it prior to leaving New Zealand, is that correct? Yeah. That was your.
So I worked
it was
for
a side
today for 6.5 years. As
a
photographer. Yeah.
So
and
you're
I
on
did
the-
the Speedway once I finished racing sidecars. I took
Yep.
up photography. I think I got 2 or 3 New Zealand Speedway Award trophies for
Oh, cool.
photographer of the year. But yeah, I sort of walked away. I was always busy. I worked during the week, and then I'd go and photograph the Speedway. I spent years building it up, and it cost me a relationship. So that was another relationship.
Yeah.
So that was my 2 daughters' mother.
Yep.
And I'd missed out on too much. And
Did you realise at the time that
Too
that's
late.
what happened?
I realised too late.
Yep.
And chucked it in. Gave up the Speedway photography going away because I used to go to Palmerston all the time, and I was the track photographer there.
So you were just working too hard to
And
understand.
I was trying to, be the breadwinner and never home.
Yep.
Or never there for them. So made quite a number of mistakes when I was younger. Still make them, but
Don't we all, mate?
yeah, I've got a cock, so I'm not going to win. You know.
I think the correct term is penis.
Oh, penis.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're
I have a penis.
we've got to use
I'm
the
not gonna
correct
win.
terminology. Yes, it's penis.
Yeah, so I mean, the struggle's real, and you make mistakes when you're young. You know,
Mate, we all have.
testosterone or whatever it is.
Well, look, you can blame it, and a lot of it's situational as well
Yeah.
too. Because as I said, once again, I would be a completely different person if I hadn't left New Zealand
Yeah.
to what I am today. Am I a better version? Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I am, because I've grown up and I've understood that
Yeah.
I've made a lot of mistakes. I've learned from those mistakes. I'm not going to make those same mistakes again. But also, I've also grown, whether it be intellectually, just trying to be a better person, a better human. You know, and that's and that's not the relationships I have, but it comes back to me personally.
Yeah.
I can't, as I've said before, I can't be a better dad, husband, mate if I'm not fucking running at 100%, and I'm not happy and I'm not content. You know, every male growing up has these issues that they need to confront, and they either do confront or they put it in the back and they cart
them around for the rest of their life.
They just don't deal with it, and they ignore it. And guys,
And it eats away at you.
that's what guys do. They don't want to talk about it. You know, they'll just shove it to the side and go, "Oh, fuck that. That'll fix itself." And I learned early on that I can't do that.
Yeah.
I can't store shit and not deal with it. I need to deal with it, and I need to move on. And that's what's made me a better human being. Now, if you talk to my friends and family, they say, well, what's the difference between Brendan now and Brendan then? They might not say a lot. You know, there's probably a few refinements that they see and
well, you're not an angry man.
they've taken. I'm not an angry man.
So,
I was a
that's
very
all
angry
good.
man. I was a very angry
Yeah.
man, and I couldn't understand why I was angry. And it was just the environment that I was in. There was all these frustrations, and these frustrations were kept in.
Yeah. But that's all
And
part
how they
of-
were released with anger.
Yeah, relationships, business.
Oh fuck!
You know, it all takes its toll.
Well, you're a product of your own environment.
Yeah.
I've been in business 30 years, and a lot of my business life was just head down, bum up,
Yep.
trying to pay bills, trying to keep my staff fucking paid,
Yep.
trying to keep the lights on, trying to keep fucking the jobs going. And it's like bang, bang, bang. It's constant.
Yep.
It does not fucking stop. You go home at night, and your partner's there. It's still in your head. All these things that you're dealing with on a day to day in a business, and business owners all over the place will this will resonate with them because that's exactly what happens. You cannot switch off. It's not those people that can, fucking kudos to them.
Yeah.
You cannot go home at night at 5 o'clock, flick the switch, and be a perfect husband, father, whatever, and then flick the switch on in the
And
morning.
then
It
you get
doesn't.
the pricks that don't pay.
It doesn't. Well, exactly. That
You know,
just all these
customers,
added stresses.
Customers that don't pay.
Money. No. We can swear or use any adjective we need. But you're right. You add those money.
And that puts pressure on.
You put those money issues on. Man, I told a story on a previous podcast about my business life, how the first 6 months I could not fucking sleep. I could not sleep because I was worried about paying bills, and And then it got to a point where it was physically making me sick.
Yeah.
So you cannot carry on like this. And I think I made a conscious decision. It's like, fuck it. It's either going to work or it's not going to work. What I need to concentrate on is the business to produce the money.
Yes.
Not what it's going to do money-wise. Because money's never been a driver for me.
Yeah.
It's never been money. There's a lot of societies and cultures out there that money is that's the all-encompassing goal.
You've got to have the flash house and the flash car. And
Exactly. A lot of people living
Flash
outside
suit.
their means. You know?
Yep.
So it was never the money for me. It was about the fear of failure and making sure that what I was putting my hand to succeeded. And that's all I've tried to do through my whole business life. And that's what I'm doing here now. I'm just trying to do the best I can, you know, with the resources that I have to produce something that hopefully somebody's going to enjoy.
Yeah.
You know, and which is a good thing because it's really satisfying. As I said, you sitting here today after all these years, we're talking about stuff that's happened 20 to 30 years ago, and all these memories are flooding back, and I'm getting the warm and fuzzies. You know, and it's not just the buck fast, I can tell you that. But yeah, so it is. It's for men. It is a constant battle, keeping that equilibrium and trying to keep everybody happy. You know, and as you've talked about with relationships in the past, I've had the same relationship breakdowns, and they weren't all my fault.
Yeah,
they were my fault.
It goes both ways.
It goes both ways, exactly.
Even though you always get blamed, the other person's always the one on the wrong.
Yeah, it comes back to that penis thing. This podcast is brought to you by Holy Shirt Australia. Holy Shirt Australia are 100% online. They're Australia's largest no minimum custom print and embroidery company. All their services are completed in-house and they can deliver all orders promptly and professionally. They like to keep it simple and straightforward, so they offer cool stuff that can be custom printed or embroidered to your liking. They have an easy-to-use online designer to build your custom apparel from the comfort of your home or office. They offer pricing that reflects your individual order, and remember, they are no minimum on all their products. They deliver what the customer expects when they expect it. They've got over 1,500 products ready for you to custom print or embroider today, right now. So head to holyshirt.com.au for all your custom clothing requirements. Pros and cons.
Pros and cons.
Now, we said prior to you leaving the land of the long white cloud, it was a pretty quick process, 4 weeks.
Yeah.
You didn't do a pro and con?
No.
Okay, how long you been here? 3 months?
So, 12th of August we flew in. Yeah.
All right. What are the pros? Give me some pros so far from you.
Oh.
I'm talking you personally, not you as a family unit. You personally.
Personally, meeting a whole lot of new people, doing different things to what you normally do, stuck in your same old at home.
So it's a population
wages,
thing.
Wages,
it's a population thing we're talking about. Yeah.
Wages are better. Even though I'm working for someone else, I don't have the stress of my own business. So that's good.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, starting my own business was the best thing I ever did. But at the same time, it was also a stressful thing.
Would you start a business over here? Is that something that you would consider, or are you quite happy being a wage earner?
Yeah, well, I'm a contractor, so I guess I do have my own business, but I work for someone else who hires me out to other people.
Yep.
So, we could be building sets. I'm driving trucks at the moment, delivering, picking up, dropping off. So I'm doing something different every day, where when I had my own business, it was the same thing day in, day out. You were sanding weatherboard houses. Different colours, different amount of layers of paint, but it was just taking paint off houses. And the Hawke's Bay sun is quite harsh, so a lot of houses you just strip them right back.
Yep. Sounds like a lot of fucking hard work.
It was
doesn't
a lot of hard
So
work.
what you're doing right now is
enjoyable.
Yeah, exactly. A little bit of a vacation.
And I'm taking home more in the hand now than I was with my own business.
Yep.
So that's good. Lots of European cars over here. We're back home. You have a lot of Japanese cars.
And the reason for that, so that our listeners and viewers who don't know, is that Japanese imports are prevalent in New Zealand because of New Zealand laws.
Yeah.
So second-hand Japanese vehicles, Japanese imports, are still coming in on a regular basis. There is one advantage of that because you get all those cool fucking Nissan GTRs and Subarus and all the stuff that you may not see on a local market over here.
Yeah.
So if we're talking about, say for instance, cars, the car market here, the car market there, new car prices are cheaper here.
I think they're slightly dearer here.
Slightly dearer.
Yeah, second-hand cars are dearer.
That's a COVID thing so far. I mean, prior to COVID, that wasn't the case.
Okay.
It's just because it's a supply chain issue, and that didn't miss the vehicle industry. Okay. It didn't miss a lot of, and they're still playing catch up. You know, if you look at my Nissan that's sitting out there, the only reason I got that was because it was one of the only items that they had in stock. Otherwise, I would have had to wait 6 or 8 months for a new Nissan. So yeah, they're still playing catch up. So that's the reason why the second-hand prices are a little bit more expensive. Okay. But as you say, the good thing about the New Zealand market is that those Japanese imports, but they don't allow that over here for some. I don't know what the issue is.
Lots of European cars, which is
as you're saying, a lot of European.
I wouldn't mind an Audi Q7 or something, you know. Like.
Yeah, wouldn't we all? Is that your flavour, your preferred flavour? Audi, is it?
I had an A4 at home.
Yeah,
3-litre diesel one. They've got all the bells and whistles.
Yeah.
You know, they're a luxury vehicle.
So that vehicle in NZ compared to over here, if you're buying second hand, you're saying it's apples for apples, or a little bit more
dearer here.
A little bit,
yeah,
because of that COVID issue that is still lagging around.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
But I mean, every $10,000 you bring over, I think we lost $1,000 almost. So exchange rate has a bit to play.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Going the other way, it's not even that much better, to be quite honest. $1.03, $1.05, maybe $1.08, but you take all the fees and shit out of it, and it's probably dollar for dollar. Yeah. You know, it's not like back in the 80s when you were 80% or 80 cents.
Yeah.
You know, so you're getting $1.20 on.
You're making it up.
Exactly. Yeah. So things have changed. Cost of living, so we're talking about pros and cons. So cost of living is slightly better over here at the moment.
Are great. We're loving the markets. You can get on the tram, go into town, go to a market.
You see, that's an adventure for you, and that's for people like me, that's a fucking chore. But for you, this is fucking all fresh and new.
Well. Yeah.
It's awesome. I love it. I absolutely love it because I was the same way. When we first got here, I would get something off Gumtree or something, and it would be over the other side of Melbourne.
It's a long way to go.
I'd never been there before, but the good thing about it was, like, I'm fucking going. Yeah. And you know why? Because I want to, and it's going to be an adventure.
Yeah.
I'm going to another part of Melbourne.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, I've driven lots of different streets. I have no idea where I am, and I'm getting to see a lot of the place driving a truck.
Oh.
You know?
As you say, that's the thing, is like when you get somewhere, if you just stay in your own pocket, you're just being ignorant.
Yeah.
You're just being narrow-minded, just closing yourself off.
I mean, we came here to explore. We've been to Korowa. Christmas or New Year, we're going to Portland.
Yep.
So
Portland's a great little spot.
Yeah.
Are you a fisher? Are you a fisherman?
Nah, not really.
There's a lot of tuna run down in Portland.
Yeah, we're going to go down the Great Ocean Road. We just bought a caravan.
Oh, awesome.
So, we're going to tow that behind the old crewman. Hopefully it'll last.
Have you always been a caravanner camper?
Yeah, we quite enjoy it. We had a little camper truck, and we sold that because we needed more space, and bought a caravan. So it was about 8 metres long, I think, including tow bar, dual axle. So that's still at home for sale. Hasn't sold, so the market's sort of come to a standstill over winter.
So you've got a caravan here, though, you said?
Yeah, we just bought a little one for the two of us.
Yep, just for the two, no kids?
It'll sleep 3.
No kids?
But we're planning on doing our own thing. Yeah. So it's just got a little pop-up top on it.
Yep.
So it's fantastic. It's all been done up.
Great.
On the inside. The outside, I'll probably give it a bit of a touch-up. Add some LED lights to it, and we'll all go.
Great. Hit the road.
Yeah.
As you say, for you guys, it's an adventure. You've got all these. Even me, after 20 years, there's so much of Victoria I still haven't seen.
Yeah, that's huge.
And it's funny because if you talk about New Zealanders, for those people that don't know New Zealand, it's North Island, South Island. There's two main islands. A lot of people that live in the North Island have never been to the South Island.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
I've been there 3 times. to Christchurch.
Oh, really?
Once on a plane, and once at night with a sidecar to the Christchurch Speedway.
Yeah.
Paul drove us down with Craig Bowler. And then the other time was with the jet sprints. I went down with the guys, took photos down there at the jet sprints.
And that's all you've done in the South Island?
So I've been down there 3 times.
You were stereotypical Kiwi. Yeah.
I've been to Brisbane once, and I've been to Sydney like twice, 2 or 3 times.
So you've not, you can, it's fair to say you're not a big traveller, are you?
Nah, pretty much stayed at home and
Yep.
did my thing.
Do you think that's a generational mentality, or is it just is it personal that you've got no desire to? Have you sat down and thought about it?
I have
you sat
now.
down?
I think I was just too busy working, too busy trying to get things I wanted, and travelling was just a waste of money. Where now I go, shit, let's just go and travel.
We're not getting any fucking younger, are we?
Yeah, let's do it before we get too old to do it. That's
Well,
why we came over.
Melbourne's a perfect platform for you.
Yeah.
You've got all these opportunities within the state,
Yeah.
within the country, and then you've got a lot of places like Indonesia.
Yeah.
We just came back from Bali, although Bali. You've heard about Bali and Australians. You've heard about no? Oh, fucking Australians.
Well, I've got a Kiwi passport, so
They carry on. Australians carry on like fucking gooses when they're overseas for some reason. I'm not saying all Australians. There's this bogan. There's a bogan element.
Yeah.
And as a traveller, it frustrates me because it was funny. We were just on a flight to Bali last week, and there was 3 or 4 guys sitting behind us, Mev. Yeah. So they were schoolies. They were fucking excited, and they're looking at the menu. Shitty old Jetstar flight because you've got to buy everything.
Yeah.
Oh, what are you going to get, mate? I'm going to get a Hans Premium. And they were just going through the beer list, and they were swearing and carrying on like a bunch of fucking yahoos. I wasn't the old man that pulled them up on it, but I just put my noise cancelling headphones in and thought that they'll figure themselves out.
Yeah.
And after they had their first beer, they all fell asleep. They all got quiet. So,
well, I had one too many.
oh, geez, one too many, all right. But you've heard of toolies and schoolies. Have you heard of schoolies? Do you know what schoolies is?
I'm picking up a lot of stuff. Like the other day at work, they said, "Can you pick up? Oh, what's it called? It's a bloody water blaster. It's a brand name over here.
A gurney or
Gurney." And I'm like, "What do you want a hospital bed for?" I'd never heard of a gurney. You know, it's like we got Kasha. You know, like
yeah.
I said,
It's just a fucking
I had to
water
ask
blaster.
someone, what's
It's
a
water
gurney?
blaster. Yeah,
"Oh,
gurney.
pressure washer." Oh, yeah, okay.
It's the same with like texters and Sharpies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Is like Saran Wrap is just a brand.
Yeah.
But you know what Saran Wrap is because of M&M. You know, it's weird how stuff like that sticks in your head. But you're right. There's all
There's
those
so many different things. Like Doona and duvet,
Yeah.
schooner and handle. You know, like.
Oh, that whole schooner pot handle thing's fucked, dude. It is. It's fucked. Seriously, it's fucked.
Just give it to me in a glass.
I'm going to give you a con about fucking Melbourne in particular. Beer prices. Are you a big beer drinker?
No, I have 1 or 2 just to freshen up. You know,
I'll freshen up
after a day at work.
I love my craft beers.
Yeah,
I love my craft beers.
Little creatures, I love that.
It's
nice.
it's
fruity.
it's on the list.
Yeah.
So the sort of beers that I'm talking about, double IPAs. Now in Victoria, the beer tax is higher based on
the price of alcohol.
Exactly, based on the volume of alcohol. So you get a double IPA that maybe 8-9%. You're paying $16 or $17 for what do they call it? A fucking schooner pint? It's not a pint. If you some pints are up to like $25 for a pint of beer. It's fucking ludicrous. And the shitty thing about it is we said, my wife and I, when it gets to $20, that's it. Not doing it. Not buying anything.
Still doing it.
We're fucking still doing it. We're doing it because the tasty beers are the most expensive.
Yeah.
And it sucks. It sucks. But the great thing about, I don't know, like the craft beer industry in New Zealand is huge.
It's massive. And Hawke's Bay is huge.
Oh, they produce some unbelievable
And
products.
because we had that cyclone which wiped out the Eastdale guy.
You know I was there for that, eh?
Oh, were you?
Did you know that?
So was I.
Of course you were. Were you affected by it personally?
Yeah, I couldn't get to work. So I was working security at Pampac Mill in Eastdale. And
Panback got flooded, didn't it? Didn't it get
yeah,
all,
our office was like 1.8 metres underwater.
Fuck.
So I went over the bridge. You'll probably know, other people won't, but went over the bridge to go to Eastdale, Panpack, and there was surface water on the road. And I was like, okay, I'm driving along, gets deeper and deeper. So I put my headlights on full, and there's logs floating across the road in front of me. And I'm like,
Jesus.
fuck that, I'm backing up to the bridge.
Yeah.
So I rung through to the security hut, and they had already evacuated. And by the time they realised what was happening and got out, it was the vehicle they evacuated and got bogged down with water and died. So they had to bail out, grab all the gear they had and make it to high ground. And they were stuck there for a day and a half because they couldn't get out.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we were back, Mav and I were back in Hawke's Bay for my dad's 80th birthday when we got stuck in that. I think we've talked about it previously. So for our viewers and our listeners, there was a cyclone that ripped through Hawke's Bay February 2022, 14th?
February the 14th.
February the 14th. And it was a weird scenario where
it came down the island. So the water built up, not only built up, but it came behind. So the water ran down rather than normally it comes up the island.
Yep.
And
so the weather system you're talking coming down from north to south.
Yeah.
Because we saw it tracking because when we left Australia, it was tracking off the Australian coast.
Yeah.
And we didn't even think I knew about it, but we didn't think any. And even the day before when it was going to hit Auckland, we were like, Hawke's Bay will be fine. It'll blow off and lose its steam. But it absolutely fucked Hawke's Bay.
It fucked Hawke's Bay.
It took us 4 days to get a flight out.
Yeah.
It was, and the main thing, the terrifying thing about the whole fucking scenario was that the morning after the cyclone had come through was clear. We had internet reception, we had cell phone reception, and then nothing. We were sitting there about 7:30, 8:30 having breakfast going, oh, fuck, that was a storm in a teacup, not knowing exactly what had happened around the area.
Well, our backyard had a little bit of flooding and some leaves and like house-wise we were fine.
But that loss of internet data, we couldn't text, we couldn't phone.
Same.
Mav's mum in Australia was expecting us to get on a plane. We had no contact with the outside world. That's the scary thing about it. And you know what's even scarier was that in a day and age where they're trying to get rid of cash, you couldn't fucking buy anything.
Yeah.
You couldn't buy gas, you couldn't buy groceries because there was no FPOS, there was no internet data, there was nothing. You couldn't transact unless you had cash.
Yeah.
I'm sure local people were getting credit and stuff, but the thing is that, I mean, I had a discussion with, Russell. You remember my mate Russell Thorogood, the cop?
Oh, the cop, yeah.
He said to me the other day, we were talking about stuff, and he goes, they're going to get rid of cash, mate. Is he going to make it a cashless society? I said, no. He was really, he sounded paranoid about the whole fucking thing. So the government
keep track of what you're spending money on.
Well, I said, next thing there'll be a social credit score. And he goes, yes, that's right. I'm going, dude, it's never going to fucking happen. If you look at situations like that, you need cash. You need cash in society to keep the wheels running. Otherwise, it just causes anarchy. I mean, there were fights in that at petrol stations because people couldn't get gas and they couldn't pay for it.
Yeah.
And there was all this frustration, and it just boils over.
Well, you couldn't even get to Napier from Hastings.
I know.
All the bridges wiped
all
out.
cut off. Yeah. So anyway, anybody that's listening to that was definitely a harrowing experience. I don't want to go through again. I mean, I wasn't at the coalface of it, but man, we flew out 4 days later and we saw the devastation from the air, and it was
I've got some pictures on my phone. I'll show you.
Fucking unbelievable. Yeah. I've seen it all. I've seen it, and I've heard the stories.
Yeah.
We're talking about pros.
Yes.
Last thing was the European cars that you noticed. We've gone through wages, cost of living. There's a lot of good options.
Veggies are so much cheaper. Meat's cheaper.
Yep.
New Zealand's an export meat country.
All the best stuff goes offshore.
And it all goes offshore, and you pay shitloads for the cheaper stuff, the not so good stuff. So it's, well, over here, you're buying stuff at a heaps cheaper rate. You go to the markets and you pick what you want. Loving it.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a lot of good variety.
Yeah.
I mean, as a Victorian, I mean, prices have gone up. So
we don't notice
you're
that.
looking through rose-coloured glasses.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
Hold on,
I
can't see anything. Yeah.
But I understand compared to New Zealand, the cost of living is definitely better. I mean, if you look at coffees, etc., that's your base rate. What's a coffee worth? So that's from your point of
coffees
view.
are probably pretty similar, like $5, $6, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much the same.
So that's that's your experience.
Yeah.
I read it was a little bit different, but and the last time I was there was last year, and for me it would just it's I'm like beer's cheaper. I get that.
Yeah.
That's
If you're a drinker, then that's a good thing.
if I see anywhere I go in the world, you use the beer currency. So the first thing you do is you go to a menu and you look at the beer price.
Yeah.
And you go, what's that compared? You do the dollar crunch. Is it cheaper or more expensive? And obviously, if you're going to Asian countries, there's always going to be cheaper. But even Bali's put their beer prices up. Bintang's gone up.
Yeah.
Jesus, who would have thought? But hey, it's the same as anywhere else, man. The cost of living. You've got any more any pros so far that are notable at the top of your head?
Oh. Nah, I think I'm at an end.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
We talked about the weather. I think you're gonna find this summer's gonna be hot.
Yeah.
It's
I've
probably
already been told that.
for you. It's probably going to be maybe a little bit uncomfortable if you're not used to the heat.
That's why we came in the winter as well. Like, so we could progress into the summer and get you sort of acclimatise.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't.
It's going to work that way.
No, it doesn't work that way. You got to do a couple.
Just
You
drink
got to
lots
do
of
a
water.
couple of summers, mate.
Yeah.
You got to do a couple of summers. Shit, I remember going through the city one New Year's Eve, and it was 44 degrees, and the heat was just radiating off the road and the concrete buildings. It was fucking terrible, absolutely fucking terrible. But as I said, you get those cool changes, which I love it. I love it. I love I love the build up and then the cool change.
I love wearing short sleeve shirts. I don't really like wearing long sleeve shirts.
Yeah.
And you'll remember Swan Dry. This is a Swan Dry.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's for those people that don't know. Swan Dry is iconic.
New Zealand.
It's an iconic brand.
Yeah.
And it's expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's good quality.
Good quality, yeah.
It's the same with like their merino wool stuff that they do. I've still got stuff that I bought snowboarding back in the 2000s that hasn't a moth hasn't touched it.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
still fits.
Merino wool's
Merino wool's just amazing.
Yeah.
If we're talking about all the pros, there's got to be some cons. There's got to be a couple of thoughts that go through your mind.
Being away from family, not being able to just drive around.
You're a bit
and see them.
homesick.
Well, I'm not homesick. It's just not being able to just rock up the driveway and visit someone.
I'll tell you, mate. I've got a little bit of a present for you. See, you might be a little bit because I thought you might be a little bit homesick. So I've got a packet of minties now. Minties.
Now, whatever happened to the chocolate ones?
I have no idea, mate.
They were the best.
So for our viewers, there's a lot of Kiwi products, and there is actually a lot of supermarkets in Melbourne that have a Kiwi product aisle.
Oh, right.
I couldn't find that one today. I think I went to a Woolies instead of a Coles or vice versa.
Yeah.
But there are it'll be a little section. It's got all your chocolate fish.
Oh.
It's got your fresh up. It's
Peanut
got your,
slab.
It's got your peanut slab. It's got your chips. What are the chips? The bluebird chips.
Oh, bluebird's the word.
Yep, exactly. All these fucking Mellow Puffs.
Oh.
I miss Mellow Puffs. For anybody that doesn't know what a Mellow
Don't have
Puff
them here.
No, Google that. They are. Look, I haven't seen them. Look, I'm not a big Bicky fan, but if I saw a packet of Mellow Puffs, I would fucking smash them.
Yeah.
You know how you eat them? You put them
Over
in
the fire.
No, you put them in the freezer.
Oh.
And then you crack them on your mate's head, and then you pick off the chocolate,
Oh.
and then you eat the marshmallow. That's how you. Anyway, mate, that's a present for you. You can take those home, minties.
Minties.
Yeah. Don't put one in your mouth now, because
Yeah. Teeth breakers.
So you're missing home. You're missing home.
I'm not missing home. I'm just not being able to catch up with family and friends. You know, you just rock up and knock on the door and say, "Hey, how you going?" But you can't do that.
No. You know the good thing about being here and not having that.
I was hoping that they would come. I would see more of my kids. They would come and visit, have a holiday.
Well, they're going to. They will. I mean, once you
Yeah.
guys get. But my point was that the one thing I like about being over here is that you don't get that.
You don't get that,
You
yeah.
don't get people fucking rocking up.
Yeah.
I mean,
Can I borrow? Can I have? Can I use?
It is. It is definitely a Kiwi thing where you don't need an invitation. You just rock
You
up
just rock up,
unannounced.
knock on the door. Hey. Yeah.
You know, another little thing that we picked up over here is that Aussies do have you been to an Aussie barbecue yet?
No.
All right. Tip for you, mate. Tip for you. Now, for our listeners and our viewers, Kiwis, when they have a barbecue, they supply everything.
Oh, you get the people to bring it.
Well,
Bring a plate.
every time I've done a barbecue like you buy the steak, you buy the sausages, you buy
Yeah.
the bread. You know, you may go with the beers, but generally somebody will bring a beer. But Aussie barbecues over here, they expect you to bring something to put on the barbecue. They don't supply.
Oh, Bonza, mate.
They don't rip a bonza grouse. They don't supply the feed. That is foreign to me because
Yeah.
as a Kiwi, I provide.
Yeah.
I invite you to my place for a barbecue.
Yeah, and you provide it.
You're going to get fucking fed, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
You're going to get fed. But over here, you don't bring something to put on the barbie. You fucking starve. Simple as that. They may do a quinoa salad or
We bought
something.
one of those barrel ones that smoke, and we put a couple of roast lambs on.
Oh, it's
Beautiful.
you know my brother-in-law, Brendan Resma? Do you know Brendan? Have you heard of Brendan
Might
Resma?
do.
It's Smoking Meat House. Shout out to Brendo.
Yeah.
Brendan.
With him?
So he's in Napier.
Yeah.
So he was the New Zealand barbecue champion 2022.
Nice.
He's big in the barbecue industry. He
Yeah.
comes over here every year to do a competition called Meat Stock. Have you heard of that?
Okay.
Meat Stock this year is actually in Ballarat. So
Oh.
it's gone from Melbourne and it's now in Ballarat. So he'll be here in March. And I've got all his barbecue equipment at my other factory. And what we do is we pack that all up.
Give us a yell.
go
Come give
on
you a
the
hand.
side. Yeah, mate.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
That'll be fantastic. You'll enjoy it. It's
Yeah.
it's an awesome weekend. An awesome weekend. Just men, meat, farts, beer. No veggies. Another fucking
No veg-
veggie.
oh,
Not a
yeah.
veggie in sight. Not a veggie in sight. That's it's a I'll give you a
Yeah,
holler,
yeah,
mate.
yeah.
You'd love it. I don't know how we got onto that, but we're talking about Australian barbecues. Yeah. About that's a con. So we figured that out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But it's just a cultural thing.
Yeah.
As I said, Kiwis when they put on a feed, they fucking put on a feed.
Yeah, you provide.
That's the way it is.
It's like my contractor, good mate Kim. He put on a hangi for me before we left. And then the day we were
fucking
driving out, he
choice.
came round. I fucking had a tear in my eye. I'm like, he gave me a hug, and I'm like, fucking, almost welting up. It was like when I was leaving. So that was quite emotional, you know.
That's cool.
And putting on a hangi is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is amazing. I haven't experienced a lot of hungies, but I understand. I it's the same. It's the same as doing a barbecue or something like that. It's
Yeah.
that concept of we're providing a meal for the family, for
Yeah.
the whānau.
Yeah.
And a lot of cultures do it all around the world.
Yeah.
You surround yourself with food and friends and good wine, and that's what fucking life's all about.
Yeah. So yeah, that was quite cool. Yeah.
It's good. You got good friends.
Yeah.
So no other cons that you've come across so far? Nothing.
Nothing's
No,
sort
there's
of
nothing sticking in the mind yet.
It may come, but yeah.
Well, you've got yourself established over here.
Yeah.
You've done the hard yards with the transitioning with the bank accounts, with the licenses.
Yeah,
You've got a rental
Medicare,
property.
yeah.
You're working. You've got Medicare. We talked about Medicare and the benefits of that.
Got
which
my
is,
white card for construction work. And
yep, which is great.
Yeah. Forklift license.
You're not part of a
You
part of
gotta
a
have a-
union yet. No, because
No.
you're a contractor.
You got to have a license for everything around here.
That's a good thing.
But it is, yeah.
It is a good
'Cause
thing.
you
There's a
know-
lot of, if I've noticed, there's a lot of structural situations between Australia and New Zealand where everything over here is structured and licensed. And the one thing we were talking about with some mates of mine, was the boating industry.
Yeah.
So over here, you've got to have a boating license. You've got to have a license to drive fish, to
yeah.
drive a jet ski. You've got to
Oh, okay.
have your boat registered. You've got to pay for the registration. New Zealand doesn't have that. They don't have these systems in place for
Yeah.
boats and registration. So they can't keep tabs on him. And I don't understand it because it's a revenue stream as well too, which
Well, it is.
they aren't doing.
There's a lot of revenue streams in Victoria. I've figured out.
Dude, if we're talking, hey, because we were talking about.
Those fucking speed
Okay, well,
cameras.
let's talk about the cons of Victoria. Okay, there's one con right there for you. When did you first figure out the speed camera system?
First day we moved into my house, I got stung. It's at the bottom of a hill.
Wow.
Son of a bitch. And then 2 days later, when I was going to work, got done again. I didn't know it was there.
Fuck.
I do now.
Yeah, you know what to look for.
It's nearly $500 later. Thank you.
Yeah, and how many demerit points? Because that's
One
the thing
each-
is like
one each ticket.
you've only got 12 over
Yeah,
here. You know, once your 12 is gone, you're fucked.
And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, you learn
So-
pretty quick. I was the same thing. I
Yeah.
learned pretty quickly.
Yeah.
You don't make the same mistakes
Learned the hard
twice.
way.
Hopefully.
I did twice, but I didn't know until I got
Well, that's the thing.
the first one, and then the next, second one turned up.
Because
not
it takes
long
2 or
after,
3. It takes 2 or 3 weeks for those
Yeah.
letters to come through.
Yeah.
You know, so that's a big con for Victoria. I mean, it's all through Australia with the way the system works.
But even the road signs, and you come up to a lane, and you're like, okay, is this a straight ahead lane or a turning lane? And the actual road markings aren't far enough back. So you,
Okay,
by the time you get to where you're meant to be, you're in the wrong lane.
Yep, you're saying you're in a turn only lane. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
want to go straight or vice versa.
Yeah.
The arrows need to be further back down the road, so you know you're in the correct lane.
So talking about Victoria and taxes and etc. I don't know if you've heard lately about the infrastructure blowouts in Victoria.
Oh, that
Have
was
you-
on
have
the
you been-
news, the tunnel? Was
On the
it?
news? Yeah. Yeah, so everything. So
But
the
things
Labor
go up every year, and it takes how many years to do it? Prices go up. That's going to happen.
It's a little bit frustrating though.
It's billions of dollars.
Okay, so if you think about it, it's a Victorian taxpayer right now, they are paying for COVID.
Yeah,
They're paying for the decisions.
The next generation in New Zealand is going to be paying for it.
Yep, for the decisions that they made, we're paying for that.
Yeah.
We're paying for that, and it was something. If you think about the amount of time that we were locked down, and the amount of resources that were spent and not spent very well,
Yeah.
and now we're paying for it, is very, very frustrating. And if you're talking about infrastructure projects that just keep on going up and up and up, inflation, you can't deny what inflation has done. Inflation has, if you understand how inflation works, that's exactly what's happening with all infrastructure projects. But you got to think somewhere down the line that if every project's going over budget, isn't there a fundamental error from the start or through the whole process where things aren't being done efficiently?
Yeah.
Or somebody like with the Commonwealth Games, they said it was going to be X amount. It turned out to be so much more than that, and then they fucking cancelled it and made themselves look like a bunch of fucking idiots. You know about that.
Nah,
You didn't hear about
nah.
that? So Victoria bid for the Commonwealth Games 2026.
Okay.
They said it was going to cost X amount of billions. Don't quote me. Maybe it was going to cost $6 billion. And then the government announced when they cancelled it that it was going to cost fucking 10 times that.
Yeah.
And they cancelled it.
Oh.
They said, nah, we're not doing it. And making Victoria,
that would've
which
cost
is
them
this,
too.
exactly, it's cost all along the way.
Yeah.
And Victoria's the sporting capital of Australia, and they've said, nah, we're not doing it. We can't afford it. Scrapped it.
Wow.
And made themselves look like a bunch of fucking twats along the way. And from a business owner, a taxpayer, it's frustrating when you look at these government departments making all these fucking decisions, poor decisions,
And your
badly
hard-earned tax
ill-advised, and my hard-earned money, everybody's hard-earned money,
Yeah.
not just
Yeah.
mine, wasting.
It's like that in New Zealand, though. It's the same everywhere.
Any government department, it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's actually a comedy series called Utopia. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's an Australian series which covers a government department, and it shows just how fucking ridiculous all these people are. Search it out and find it.
Okay.
It's a good watch because it just solidifies your distrust in these government departments because they're run by fucking idiots. You know, all these corporate twats anyway. That's another rant. You got that, Mav? So just looking at just recently, I was looking at the paper this morning. It was announced yesterday. So that it's the northeast link. Just bear with me.
Is that the tunnel?
There is a tunnel in there.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the northeast link. So the forecast cost in 2016 was $16 billion.
Yeah.
Right, the current cost today is $26 billion.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's $10 billion.
Well, steel's gone up, concrete's gone up.
I understand that. I fully understand that. But if you understand the difference between a million and a billion,
yeah, it's a lot of shitload of money.
It's fucking a lot. It's a hell of a lot. So the Victorian, so if you're talking about the Victorian budget, so new stats out today, so by 26-27, the state is going to be in a $177.8 billion deficit. $177 billion. Right, the jump in net debt since May's budget, so the budget that was just delivered in May, it's $6.4 billion, so it's blown out that much. As I said, the difference between a million and a billion is exponential.
Truckloads.
So the interest on that money,
Oh, that's a killer.
$24 million per day.
Wow.
Per day. So the net debt...
How are they ever going to pay that back?
Dude.
That's a sinkhole.
Taxes.
Yeah.
Fucking traffic light cameras.
Yeah.
Parking. Well, no, that's council. Which is more taxes. They're going to tax.
Yeah.
They're going to tax the taxes.
Well, the cops are not doing their thing at the moment too, aren't they?
Oh, they're upset because they want a wage rise.
Yeah.
So on that point,
taxes.
on that point exactly. So the $24 million a day, right, in interest payments on the money that they're going to borrow, right? How many more cops? How many more nurses?
Yeah, exactly.
How many more ambos could we have in
Firemen.
Victoria by not going ahead with these infrastructure projects?
Yeah.
It's fucking mind blowing. It's fucking mind blowing.
But there's new motorways flying all over the place.
Yeah, there's a lot of infrastructure going on. And there's a lot of infrastructure going on that's blown out, gone over budget.
I mean, I guess they've got to plan ahead for the future.
Oh, for sure.
And have it in place.
For sure.
Because the roads are pretty full.
But that's the thing is you've got to... Okay, also that goes back to immigration. Let's talk about
and
that.
you pay your tolls.
Let's talk about that. In the last calendar year, there were over 730,000 immigrants.
Yeah.
Right? That's a lot. That's a hell of a lot. Right? Previously, it's been a smidgen on that. Right? That the immigration policies have just blown out. Now they're trying to rein it back in, and the only reason you need more infrastructure is because you're allowing more immigrants in.
Yeah.
So you've got this cause and effect situation going on. And then you've got cops and nurses in that aren't getting paid and aren't getting looked after. They're disgruntled.
I think we're
kinda
lucky because we can come over.
Well, we are lucky.
We're allowed to come over.
We are lucky, yes.
And we're allowed to stay.
Yep.
So where other countries, they've got to apply, go through all the processes, where we just jump on a plane and come over.
Well, they just changed the ruling in July this year about New Zealand's immigrating to Australia and their qualification for citizenship.
Oh, okay.
You knew about that?
No.
Yeah. So anybody that has been here 4 years or more can automatically qualify for citizenship.
Okay.
Whereas prior to that, we had to jump through a few hoops.
Yeah.
So for those people that don't know my situation, I'm a Kiwi living in Australia legally, because of the immigration laws. I can pay tax. I can get Medicare. I can't vote.
Because you're not a citizen.
Those are the major, because I'm not a citizen. Now, I'm married to a lovely Australian lady.
Yeah.
I can qualify now through this new system to get citizenship without jumping through hoops and without paying a lot of money. I think it's reduced. It's like $1,500 now. So
you've done your 4-year term.
I've done more
multiple times.
You get less for murder, mate. So yeah, so from your point of view for Kiwis immigrating, it's always been allowed. It's always been an open access, but the citizenship thing has been a crutch.
Which affects, like, if you are unemployment benefit and stuff like that too. It makes it harder if you're not a citizen.
Well, and stuff like pension as well too. As you get older,
yeah.
You know. So me right now, I don't qualify for a pension because I'm not a citizen. We'll fix that problem later on down the track. But
you've been paying taxes for 20 years.
Yeah, but I've still got to see. That's the thing. There's another difference between Australia and New Zealand, is that the pension is income tested, whereas in New Zealand it's not.
Okay.
So in New Zealand, it's your God-given right to receive your pension when you hit 65,
It's still
70.
sweet FA though.
Well, I think my parents are doing all right on it. They're living comfortably.
If there's two of you get less each.
Yeah.
It's like you've both paid taxes for your whole life.
Yeah, but it's better than fucking some countries where you get fuck all.
Yeah.
You know? So there's a lot of pros, a lot of cons. It's getting a lot easier for Kiwis to re-establish themselves over here and become citizens.
Yes.
I'll eventually get my citizenship. It doesn't make any difference to me personally. No. It makes no difference apart
Does
from
that mean you get a dual passport?
Well, I'm still going to use. If you look at the passport, the value of the New Zealand passport is more than what the Australian one is globally, anyway.
Yeah.
So
it's greener, isn't it? Even though it's black.
It's definitely got more kudos. I think
we don't
in
have
a lot
nuclear
of countries.
submarines.
No, well, not yet. Not yet.
Australia just bought 3, haven't they?
Well, they're coming. They're coming. They're still trying to work out their deal with the Americans.
They're the first people they've ever sold them to.
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah.
But they've got some pact with the states. They had to. I think just recently they had to go back to Congress and they all had to agree that the technology and the information they could share with Australia.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, New Zealand might be able to buy Aussie's old ones. They'll be a lot better than what we got.
Mate, you know what I suggest to New Zealand is just sit down and shut the fuck up and not draw anybody's attention.
Yeah.
You know, because if anything turns to shit in the Indo-Pacific, just let everybody else worry about it.
Yeah.
Now, we've got some friends that actually moved from Australia back to New Zealand around the COVID time because they were actually worried about, and the war in Ukraine, they were worried about just the global instability. And they sought refuge in New Zealand.
Wow.
And which, I mean, they'd gone other places, they'd lived in France, they'd come back to Australia, and they've gone back to New Zealand. I thought that personally was a step backwards. But horses for courses. Everybody has their own.
Yeah, they made the call. It suited them. And
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, hey, let's sum things up. 3 months in Australia, you're loving life.
Yeah,
you're loving everything about it.
Met some cool people.
Yep. I mean, that's going to happen. As you say, population. There's a lot more cool people to meet.
Exactly.
Definitely.
And I've caught up with yourself and my mate Shane from Brizzy. He drives the truck. He came over and I picked him up from the depot and brought him around for dinner. And we hadn't seen each other for 12 years or so. So it's been good to catch up with people who I haven't seen.
Well, the good thing about it, and as I said previously, is that there's no trepidation on your part.
Yeah.
Where you can be a little bit nervous about seeing people you haven't. We haven't seen each other for it's going to be over 25. Over 25 years.
Yeah.
But as I said, when I saw the post that you were here, it made me satisfied to know that somebody else got out.
Yeah.
They got out alive.
We just need Shane and Ez to come over.
Well, Shane needs to come over.
Yeah.
Come on, Shane.
We can
Get
have
on
a
the
card
phone.
game.
Yeah, I'll put you up, Shane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got a spare room.
Yeah. There you go. There's plenty of opportunity.
Yeah.
There is so much opportunity in Australia. There's so much opportunity. And as I said, just assimilate nicely. Don't try to stand out.
Plenty of restaurants and bars to play drums in.
Oh, man. The music industry over here is huge. It's huge. So, as I say, plenty of opportunity. I'm so glad that you came today to sit down and tell your story. It's been great.
Been here 3 months.
Getting those flashbacks.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll catch up. We'll go out for dinner with the family and more reminiscing about.
Yeah, I'm just up the road, only just over an hour away.
Well, I'm St Kilda.
Yeah.
So it's not that far, is it? Is it?
No, we've been to the pier and been fishing there with the young fella.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Well, there's plenty to explore. On that note, mate, thank you very much. I appreciate your time. To you and your family, it's great to see you here enjoying life in Australia. I hope it's long and prosperous. It was great to have you here today. Thank you very much for your time. I mean, we're just up the road from each other, so we should be seeing some more of each
Oh,
other.
definitely we will. Yeah.
That's fantastic. We'll have to book in a meal.
Yes.
Thank you again, and we'll be in touch.
We will.
That's a wrap, Mav.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in and for your time. You know the vibe, I'm steady living until I die. It's a loose state of mind and we showed you that. Keep it authentic and real, I hope you coming back. Hey, make sure that you subscribe, cause we got it popping all the time and it's going down. If you wanna elevate, wanna live a better life, keep it locked here. You know it's a loose state of mind, let's go.